Begins in storm mode.
And about an hour ago, Maria became a hurricane yet again. Good afternoon. I'm Andre Sr.
And I'm Kristina Zverjako. Lucy is off. The storm continues the slow track north as we wait for it to turn east and head out to sea. Yeah,
we've got team coverage across the area. Stephen Graves is reporting in the Outer Banks where the storm continues to send water rushing onto parts of the North Carolina coast. And at the ocean front, we've got reporter Elise Brown.
And meteorologist Tim Pandages has been updating the storm's path. Tim, any indication of when Maria will finally make that turn?
Yeah, guys, as of the 11 o'clock advisory, it actually already has begun off to the north and east, so it is slowly pulling away from the east coast, but still causing some issues there. Now, what prompted the upgrade back to a hurricane was a flare-up in some convection, stronger winds, stronger storms. You can see it here, some brighter colors briefly flaring up in the northeastern quadrant of the storm here. Again, that'll stay out over open water, so not going to affect the coastline at all, but still, it's rather close to the area, around 200 miles or so out from the coastline, even 150, and that's still prompting some gusty winds right along the Outer Banks there. So there's the initial movement there off to the north-northeast out, that easterly component pulling it away from the eastern seaboard. It's going to weaken back to a tropical storm by early tomorrow morning and then cruise quickly out to the east into the open Atlantic, not causing any more issues for anybody else. A few rain showers out there this afternoon, and that'll be about it. We're not looking at a big rainmaker for the system, but the winds are certainly up. A recent gust in Norfolk International of 33 miles per hour. When we slide south, they get a little bit stronger, especially down through the central Outer Banks. 38-mile-an-hour recent wind gusts in Manio. I saw one in Hatteras of 53 miles per hour earlier. All right, as we get towards this afternoon, high tide around 1:15 at Duck Pier, 6.2 feet. That's moderate to even major flooding in that area. Even Sewell's Point running above average in that minor flood stage, really right into tomorrow with a nuisance flooding occurring there with that wind continuing. So out there today, we're up to around 80 with cloudy and windy conditions. We'll talk about what things look like for the rest of the week and the weekend coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Now to the Outer Banks. The Dare County Emergency Management Director said that high tide this morning flooded some roads and made travel dangerous.
All the more reason that Dare County school officials made the right call when they canceled classes today. As for visitors, the Bonner Bridge is actually shut off to tourists.
Stephen Graves is live in Kitty Hawk right now. Stephen, you spoke with a family who had to put their vacation on hold for this storm, huh?
Yeah, you know, they're from Toronto. They had to leave, of course, Hatteras because of that visitor evacuation. But here in Kitty Hawk, this is where they're staying. They're staying in Nag's Head, actually, but in the same area of Kitty Hawk. And as you can see, conditions aren't much better. Officials are worried about the high tide coming up and, of course, these dunes holding up as well. They're just hoping they can get back soon. Call it an unlucky case of deja vu for Robert Clout.
Frustrated, but what can you do?
The Toronto native is stuck at a Nag's Head hotel miles away from his vacation spot in Hatteras. His family had a rental home ready to go.
This would be the fourth time we've had a vacation down here interrupted by a storm. Every time we go back, we swear we'll never come here again.
This time, the threat of Hurricane Maria's wrath means they have to stay out. Clout estimates almost half the guests in his hotel are like him under that mandatory visitor evacuation from the southern Outer Banks. No idea when they'll be able to return.
It's hard to get concrete information.
The problem, officials say, rough waters and overwash, specifically on trouble spot Highway 12.
We haven't seen it since Monday.
So we showed Clout what our cameras captured Wednesday morning. Shallow floodwaters as we tried to get into Rodanthe.
I think it's another day or two before we get down there.
Now it's just a waiting game. Clout says he's tried to contact his rental company for answers.
They don't know. I mean, they have no idea.
So he'll make the best out of the situation.
We're not able to do what we would do, but we get to do different stuff.
Even if it is for a fourth time. Yeah, put yourself in his situation. 4 times having to leave. That's just crazy. Well, we spoke to Hyde County officials. They say a rough estimate is Friday before anyone's let back on Ocracoke. We talked to Dare County officials about Hatteras. They said they're just monitoring the conditions. As you know, those ferries are suspended. But take a look here. This is what we'll be monitoring. He'll have a live report coming up at 12:30 about more of the conditions here in Kitty Hawk. For now, reporting live in the Outer Banks, I'm Stephen Graves. Back to you guys.
All right, Stephen. Hope he'll give us another chance after this. Well, our team coverage continues now. We could be seeing tidal flooding in Hampton Roads this afternoon.
The winds could push water onto roadways from Sewell's Point all the way down to the ocean front. There's lots going on in Virginia Beach this weekend, but right now it doesn't look like it'll be an issue.
Yeah, Elise Brown is at the ocean front now, and Elise, rough surface is a main issue this afternoon.
Hey, yeah, Andre, that's right, but it's been a breeze for visitors and sculptors who are just simply enjoying the day.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
The wind is beautiful and the weather's great. This is exactly how I like it.
An ideal day for the salt life, but most people are careful not to get too close. The National Weather Service is warning of high surf, dangerous shore break, and rip currents, telling surfers to use extreme caution.
Buddy was kind of getting sandblasted because the sand definitely is blowing.
Pets aren't the only ones hanging out in the sand. Sculptors from across the world are hard at work for the Neptune Festival.
There's no tricks, there's no magic, it's just sand and water. So the elements are very damaging. Sun and wind are the worst. Rain doesn't do as much as people think, but if it's a torrential rain, of course it does.
Meredith Corson Doubleday has seen the good, the bad, and ugly of what poor weather can do to their artwork.
And it washes away the fine detail. So then you have to go back and, what happens then is you don't get the quality sculptures that you see in here.
So this tent is kind of a big deal.
Everybody should come out. First of all, there's a tent here, so weather is not an excuse to not come out. This is literally an art gallery on the beach.
Gallery artists aren't worried will be destroyed by weather. Live in Virginia Beach, Elise Brown, 13 News Now.
And we want you to stay safe this hurricane season with the 13 News Now app.
It is free for Apple devices. For the latest on the tropics, when you need it, just tap on the weather tile.
Now to breaking news. A Chesapeake High School student is facing gun charges. The student goes to Great Bridge High School.
Police tell us Sunday night a school resource officer found intimidating social media posts. Now we're told there was extra police presence at the school on Monday. The student was not charged with anything threat related because the post did not meet the criminal charge criteria.
During the investigation, more posts were found, and as a result, the student was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of gun charges. The student is held in Chesapeake Juvenile Services.